Alright, here we go. One take. I have no prep at all for this, but I'm going to try to make this tier list for every blood in the clock tower, blood on the clock tower character. I lied, I prepped by making the tiers. For some reason this website defaults to making the first tier red, and then it like trickles down and F tier is green. Doesn't make any fucking sense at all. Just want to establish a background and a basis for where I'm coming from with my thoughts about the characters. I like to think about characters from a few different angles. I like to think about them as a storyteller, as me playing as the character, as the character being in play in the game that I'm playing, and also the character not being in play but on the sheet, like on the script of the game that I'm playing. I come from like a lot of experience. I think I've probably played like 200 games of Clock Tower. In the last maybe 100 games of Clock Tower I've been involved in, I probably story told half of them. So I think I do have sort of a storyteller leaning perspective here, just a little bit, but those are my main thoughts. The tiers that I came up with were top tier. I mean, these are just good in like literally every situation. Then great for all is below that, and this is kind of like I'm thinking it's great for the storyteller, it's great for people on the team of the character, it's great for the people who are playing the character, it's great for people who are, you know, maybe bluffing as the character, as the evil team or something to that effect. Just something very fun. Great, but not for everyone. Could be something that's good for the storyteller but not so fun to play as. Maybe something that's good to have on the sheet, but like maybe it's kind of annoying to play as it, or maybe it's like something fun to play and it's fun to play against, but it's a headache for the storyteller. These are sorts of considerations I can make. Good generally is something that I think might be a little bit weaker in terms of enjoyment. I think good generally is probably more likely going to be roles that I feel like aren't as fun to play, because I think a lot of roles are kind of not very fun to play, even though they are good for the storyteller and they are good for the game in total, like at a macro level, but just on your own individual level of playing the game, they're not as fun. Neutral mixed are roles that I probably have positive and negative feelings about, or I just kind of like feel like are just okay. Then like what's worse than just being kind of okay? Generally boring. And then what's worse than that? Stuff that makes me mad, that's bad design. This I left as a gap. I'm not going to put anything here, and I have this haven't experienced this enough category, because there are some characters that I just really have not experienced very much. So getting right into it here, going to try to speed run these so I don't take fucking like, if I took like a minute per, this would be like a 3-hour long video or something. So we're not going to do that. Right off the bat, the Acrobat, this is a character. Oh, actually, before I get into the characters exactly, I want to talk about townsfolk in general. I think something that I thought about that makes townsfolk like better or worse is how bluffable it is, and also how people bluffing it impacts the game. So something like Juggler being bluffed is like funny the first time, but then it gets so fucking annoying. And whenever it's on the script, you always have like 3 assholes that are like, oh, no, I'm the Juggler. And then meanwhile, no one's the Juggler. God, that shit pisses me off. But actually, I say that, but then when I'm playing the game and Juggler's on the script, I'm always like, guys, I'm the Juggler, trust, tell me your role. So, maybe not the worst, or not the best example of a bad role, but just something I thought of. So, right off rip here, we have Acrobat. This used to be an outsider, and then it got changed. It was an outsider as an experimental character, then it became an official character by becoming a townsfolk. I think I've played 1 game with this as a townsfolk, and it didn't do anything. I think the character definitely makes more sense as a townsfolk than an outsider. All it did before as an outsider was die if one of your neighbors is drunk. To be honest, I don't know what the text says on the role now, to be completely frank. Oh, oof, saved. We're going to put this over here on this monitor. I want to look it up just really quick. Oh my god, I'm taking so much time on this first fucking role, dude. This is so cringe. Each night, choose a player. If they become drunk or are poisoned tonight, you die. Yeah, so I feel like on the first night they picked someone and then the demon killed them. I guess it's technically night 2. But so they thought their ability procced, but like it didn't. I don't remember. It was literally the only time I ever experienced it, and they died instantly. So I just have to put it in the gray tier, I feel like. Next up, we have the Alchemist. This one's really cool. The recent change to it, making it so you could gain a minion ability that is in play, so you could have 2 people with the same minion ability, is kind of cool. It does guarantee that one of them is evil, so it's probably not the best decision as a storyteller to put, 2 Viziers in play or 2 Psychopaths in play, but it is something you could do. Like 2 Goblins could be kind of funny, or just, 1 Goblin and the other one's like the demon bluffing, you never know. I do think this role is Really fun to play, super, super fun to play. I think it opens up a lot for the storyteller. I think having this in your game is like a little, sometimes it's like a little too over centralizing, and it's a little obnoxious as town to be like, okay, here comes this fucking asshole with the minion power who I have to believe is on my team. So I feel like my first instinct is to put it here. It might be great for all, but I just don't know. I feel like in games I've played where there's an alchemist in play and I'm not the alchemist, I'm kind of like, I don't really like that role. Next up is the Alsaahir. This role I've seen win the game instantly on day one time. That was pretty sad for the evil team. There's been a lot of games where I wish I was this character when I was a different character, but in general, I don't like this character. I think this character, it just is so anticlimactic when you win with it. Like, you just like take a stab, shot in the dark. Everyone makes the guess every day. It almost never fucking does anything. Like, it's usually not in play too, and you still have 4 people fucking bluffing it. I mean, this shit is just kind of annoying. Yeah, like, it literally doesn't do anything unless it wins the game, and it wins the game in like such an anticlimactic fashion, I feel like. I mean, I'm sure it's possible for it to be more interesting. I do think the concept is good, and I do think that sort of a Slayer with a higher upside but a higher barrier. Well, it's not really higher. Yeah, I guess it's higher upside because you instantly win instead of just killing the demon, but higher barrier to getting stuff right. And then also there's like the factor of if you have Little Monster in play, now you have to guess who is holding the baby. If you have, something that affects minion count, like Lord of Typhon, now you have to guess a different number of minions, etc. I mean, it's kind of interesting. I think I'd probably put it here. I have pretty mixed feelings on it, I would say. Amnesiac up next. It's kind of a little hard to storytell, kind of a little annoying to be the Amnesiac, but I think this role is pretty fucking fuego if story told correctly. I think that if the storyteller is a little bit doggo, this role can be way too strong or way too weak, so it does have to strike a balance. But I think it's pretty fun, and I also think like putting in a drunk Amnesiac is a little bit mean of the storyteller, but it's fucking funny every single time. So yeah, really cool, really replayable role. I mean, I've seen a script where every single character, good and evil and outsiders, were all Amnesiacs, and so it's just a very interesting role. Honestly, it could be top tier. We're on the edge there. We're on the edge. We might revisit. We might come back and move some stuff around as we tier out some things. Next up is the Artist. I mean, I think this character is very straightforward, very good, pretty easy to storytell, pretty easy, straightforward to play. I do think the meta is a little solved on it. You kind of divide the room in half and say, is the demon one of these people? Is the demon one of these people? It's almost always what's asked. I have seen it used to some pretty good effect, like getting a cult leader win on day 1 was pretty cool one time. Philosophering into this later in the game and something S&V, something like that could be interesting. Having Vortox in play and trying to like make your question Vortox proof, stuff like that could make it pretty interesting. I think that this role is good generally. No, I'd say it's pretty great. It's pretty easy to bluff too, and I feel like you kind of have to believe the artist a lot of the times, but maybe not necessarily. I think it's actually a really strong role. Probably not quite at this same level. I'm kind of maybe between great and good here, but definitely closer to great. So we're gonna stick it right there, just below Alchemist. Next up is the Atheist. My love. One of my favorite roles. Absolutely horrendous for everyone that isn't the storyteller, but goddamn, being the storyteller with an atheist in play is so sick. And actually being evil with atheist in the script is also kind of fire. So my favorite script is Midnight Oasis, and that script is kind of built around the atheist, and I think that it's pretty fucking awesome. I don't know if great for all is correct, but I mean, I have some bias that makes me want to put it up here, but I think I'm going to have to put it here because it's really not great for everyone. I think it's pretty fucking annoying for a lot of people, and it also kind of lets the storyteller kind of step on some toes and be a character in the game when they're not supposed to be. Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun, but I can understand it wearing on people. I think, something like an Amnesiac, you could have this in every single game you play, and I don't think anyone will be like, oh my god, another game with Amnesiac. But like Atheist, of course, people are going to get fucking tired of that after a little while. Next is Balloonist. The change to this kind of made it a little bit boneless. I don't know if that's correct. I haven't experienced it a ton since they changed the text. I think it's okay. I don't know. It's like an info gainer, but it's like kind of hard to decipher what your info is. You can do some fun stuff as storyteller here. I mean, just recently played a game where the storyteller showed demon and then minion night 1-2 to the Balloonist, but the Balloonist didn't glean anything from that, basically. It was kind of impossible to. So, I think I'm maybe at the bottom of great, but not for everyone. I do think a townsfolk that adds an outsider is kind of an interesting concept without like totally fucking the town, because they are a pretty strong info gainer, and like their ability kind of needs an outsider in play to function. So I think it's good for the balance of the game. And I think when you are the balloonist, it's kind of exciting, kind of interesting. You know, you're gonna get info as long as you're alive. You're gonna keep doing stuff, and you can kind of piece out your info and kind of figure it out. So yeah, I'd put the balloonist there. Next is the Banshee. I've only played this a couple times. I do think it's hilarious. I do think it is way too strong. Oh my god, if Banshee ever goes off, it feels horrendous to be the evil team. Holy shit, bro. Like, you're instantly, like, you're in a final 3 situation. You've got a demon, minion, and the town alive. Oh, great, the town wasted their nomination on the minion. We want... Oh, never mind, there's a Banshee. Not only that, but, like, it's hard to force the tie vote as the evil team because the Banshee's like popping off. I'm like, yeah, I know it's supposed to be like, it's supposed to do something and have a reward for dying, but I think this is the worst character design for having a reward for dying. I mean, it's literally not bluffable for the evil team, because it when it gets killed at night, it gets revealed to everyone that they were the Banshee, and then they get to keep doing shit the rest of the game, and the game becomes centralized around them just because they died at night. I mean, it's like, as the evil team, you could just randomly hit this person because you just don't know anything on night 2, and you just pick someone by chance. I think this role kind of sucks ass. I think this role is kind of terrible. The flavor is really fun, but like in practice, it's too strong. It's like you either do nothing or you do fucking everything. You hard confirm yourself and you just almost guarantee the win for the good team. I would love to have some win rate stats across like some big aggregate number of games. I don't think that really exists, but I have a feeling in games where the Banshee's ability gets activated, the good team probably wins 80+% of the time. I mean, this role is actually so stupid. Next we have the Bounty Hunter. I haven't played too much with this role, but I have played quite a few games on scripts that has this on the script. I think this opens up a mechanic that is kind of unparalleled and unmatched. Like, I feel like it's extremely rare that any townsfolk are evil, but obviously this is like the preeminent way to make a townsfolk evil, and there's some really interesting stuff, like an evil gossip, you know, saying true stuff on purpose to kill people each night, an evil virgin trying to goad a strong townsfolk into nominating them. There's some interesting stuff here, and the balancing factor of this just learning an evil player is really cool. They kind of have to be subtle about it. It really reminds me of Merlin from what's that game called? Avalon, is that correct? It reminds me of Merlin. Like, you know who's evil, and you have to convince the good people who's evil, but like, you don't want to say, hey guys, I know who's evil, because then you're gonna fucking die. I think this role is actually kind of awesome. I think I'm gonna put this one in great for all. I think this is an awesome role. I think it's actually super bluffable for evil too. I haven't seen an evil player bluff this, but I think it's definitely doable. Next up we have Cannibal. I used to fucking hate this role, but I kind of like coming around on it. I think this role is kind of interesting, actually. It's sort of like an Undertaker, but you don't really learn the role of the person you got. And as the storyteller, you get to really fuck with them when they execute a minion or an outsider. Well, not an outsider, but a minion. If they execute a minion, you get to really fuck with them and make them think, yeah, that person was this role they were claiming. Here's some garbage info that they would have gotten, you know, from that role. So I think this role is actually pretty good. It's definitely grown on me. I think it's not pretty freaking, but it does happen where town is really apprehensive to execute, and also just like sometimes you do execute people and like you just don't get anything powerful, you know, or like the people are volunteering to get executed are outsiders, and now you're the fucking mutant ability or some bullshit. It's so stupid. I don't know, like it's good generally. I think I probably like it more than the Undertaker, but not by much. Next we have Chambermaid. I think Chambermaid is actually super sick and has like a huge ceiling. Not really something you see a lot in custom scripts. I think people much prefer like a fortune teller or empath, something a little bit more direct, more obvious. But I think Chambermaid actually like has the tools to solve the game a lot. And so I'm a pretty big fan of Chambermaid. I kind of fuck with Chambermaid. I think it's bluffable for evil. I think it's easy to get caught lying with this bluff. But yeah, I think I'd stick this one somewhere around here. Maybe around the same tier as Artist, somewhere in there. Next up is Chef. Chef is so strong unless it's weak, and also it's bluffable, and maybe they got poison, and maybe they're drunk, and maybe they got bad info due to like someone misregistering. I mean, this role can really cook, get it? Because Chef, but it can also be kind of useless. So, I don't know. I think this one's often also kind of overlooked. But I'm going to kind of think about this in the terms of the other You Start Knowings. This is the first You Start Knowing, I believe, that I've rated. Yes. And I think this one is good generally. Probably better than the Cannibal. Probably just stick it there. It's fine. What is this? Choirboy? I'm going to Google really quick. I'm pretty sure it's Choirboy, but I'm not 100%. That is the Choirboy icon. It's also alphabetical. I could have guessed from that. Yeah, this roll is stinky bad. This roll will forever stand out in my mind for being on the one Reddit script. There's some guy who posted a script to Reddit of the shittiest script ever made, and there's a Choirboy on the script, but there's no king. So you could get the Choirboy and you just have no ability. It's so fucking stupid. Yeah, I think this, I don't know. It's just like another like damsel-esque type thing. But like, I guess you're a town, but like you have to be really cagey about your role or lie about your role. And like, you know, you have to bank on the demon killing the king. I mean, I really feel like this role only exists as a balancing mechanic so that the king isn't just instantly killed by the demon first every night. It is quite bluffable for evil. I haven't seen evil do this before, but I think they could do some kind of shenanigans where, you know, because they know there's no king in play, because the demon learns if a king is in play, so therefore they know there's no Choirboy in play, so that, like, you know, maybe the demon could kill a minion on one night, and then they could wake up and, you know, another minion could wake up and be like, oh, he was my king, I'm the Choirboy, this other person's the demon. Could be something interesting, but I just think being this role seems so fucking boring, and if someone, like, ever told me they were this role, I'd be like, oh my god, like, leave me alone, you're obviously lying, this shit is so honk shoo, wee, boring. Clockmaker, I think, at a glance, might be the best you start knowing. I think there opens up a lot of interesting stuff here with Clockmaker in terms of the information given based on drunkenness. You know, Vortox, of course, is on the SMV script, but I've seen this in quite a few Teensyvilles. I feel like this is just such a very fluid kind of character. I feel like it's applicable to a lot of different scripts as you start knowing. It's actually definitely not the best you start knowing because I forgot Pixie was a you start knowing, but we'll get there when we get there. This one is definitely in the great tier. I wouldn't call this good. I would probably put this around here. The one thing I don't like about this character is the fucking jinx it has with Summoner. Oh my god, that shit is bonkers, broken, dummy, stupid, too strong. Literally, you tell them on night one that there's a summoner in play, and then when the summoner summons the demon, you then give them their info for how far the demon is away from the minion. Get the fuck out of here. That's like, that makes this roll way too strong. Next up is the Courtier. Holy shit, this shit is so boring. Put that in boring tier. Good night. I mean, I guess there's the interesting factor of picking a character instead of picking a player, which most roles don't pick a character. But oh my god, this roll is so sleepy boring. Next up, we have Cult Leader. Kind of hilarious in a way, almost Atheist-like in how attention-demanding it is. Not quite Atheist-like, but, you know, it's another one of those roles where you're going to get people bluffing it almost every day, and the storyteller has to go through some whole rigmarole pretending, oh yeah, you are the cult leader, okay, do we want to vote to be in the cult? Who wants to be in the cult? Every single day. It gets kind of dragging and annoying. Even when someone actually is the cult leader, it's, like, impossible to tell if they're good or not, and, like, most like, you know, players who have played the game a decent amount will recognize that you can't trust if the cult leader is good or not. So the cult leader will want to do the vote every day because they win the game no matter what if the vote goes through, but like people will just vote no every day. So I'm actually kind of in this range. I maybe like it a little more than Alsaahir, but I'm pretty mixed on this one too. Funny, kind of, I guess. Not really that fun. I've never been the cult leader. It seems kind of annoying. And like it just also leads to some unsatisfying endings when the game ends on cult leader. Yeah, it's just not that good. They're pretty similar in that way, huh? Next up is Dreamer. This roll is giga bonkers broken. I don't know how this shit is balanced at all. I don't think I've ever seen Evil successfully bluff this one. Maybe with a Spy or a Widow could work. And I've seen them try and fail multiple times. But then I also don't think I've ever seen this roll be on town and not win the game. I mean, maybe sometimes in SMD, like sometimes, but I've seen this on some custom scripts or whatever, some, not homebrew, but just custom scripts, and it feels like it wins every time. This shit is so strong. It's, as the storyteller, it's so hard for me to tell them, you know, when they pick an evil character, it's so hard for me to tell them a good role that's believable, that doesn't immediately sink that evil character's game. Like, I want to give them, like, some garbage bullshit to, like, help the evil team every time, but you just can't as storyteller. You got to tell them, hey, they're either this good roll that makes no fucking sense, or is like not what they're claiming because I don't know what that evil player is claiming on night 1, or they're this evil roll. And then they just out a minion on day 1, like almost every fucking time. Not every time, but it happens a lot, I feel like. And so I just feel like this roll is like a little bit overpowered, to be honest. Which makes you think bad design, but not really. I think I'd call it sort of like neutral feelings overall. Like it's like decent design, but it's just too strong. Next is Empath. Empath's like tried and true. Kind of just like so standard to BOTC. I feel like it's like inseparable from the concept of BOTC. I'm gonna actually have to put this in great for all. Really good for bluffs for evil. Just generally really strong. Good to like target with poisoning. Good for the storyteller to make the drunk. I mean, this role is just like a standard, I feel like. Next up is the Engineer, I believe this is called, with the cog. This is the one that changes the minions and demons. I mean, dude, this shit is boring, bro. This shit's boring. I like it more than Courtier and this thing, but like, God, this role's so boring. I guess you could do some interesting stuff, but like, oh no, the demon's the slightly weaker demon on the script now. It's like, dude, if I'm on the evil team and like I got changed my demon or my minion, I'd be like, yo, sick, I get to do something different this game. That's hype. I already got to be Vortox and now I get to be fucking Leech or something else. Like, sick. Thanks for letting me swap up my whole game plan. That's sick. Thank you. Next up is the Exorcist, and I can never remember if this is the boy that fucks with minions or demons. I always mix those two up. The demon. This role feels so fucking bad to play against as the demon. Oh my god, bro. You wake up, no kill happens, and everyone's like, oh, I picked this person last night, and everyone else goes, oh, they're the demon, vote them out. Yeah, I don't know. It's okay, I guess. I generally am not a big fan of this role. I think playing this role, you just kind of pick people that are sus, and when someone doesn't die, you go, let's get them the fuck out of here. So it's okay. I'd put it in good. Like, I'm not that low on it, but it's just not my favorite. Next up is Farmer. Dude, I love the Farmer conceptually. It never does anything. It's so weak, bro. Like, okay, you get to confirm someone occasionally, and usually storyteller's going to swap this onto like a spent roll or a you start knowing, and then you get some cross confirms going. But like, I just don't think I see people kill their minions at night enough for something like this to be all that powerful. I mean, I guess that dead player now trusts this one alive player, but like, usually people you start knowings or spent town rolls are like pretty believable, pretty trustworthy, because like, I don't know, in general, minion players just give off a vibe that they're minion. I feel like it's easy to detect, and demons generally don't bluff start knowings or spent roll type rolls. They bluff like those continuous things. So, you know, if you're saying you're the dreamer, you're probably the dreamer or you're the demon, and like the farmer isn't going to swap onto the dreamer because that would hurt the good team. So like, I just don't think the farmer is really, it does that much, and I don't like these like, you have to die at night, but type rolls, and I also don't like the you have low agency type rolls. Like, this roll doesn't make any decisions. All you do is be quiet about what role you are, or like bluff being strong to try to get killed by the demon. I just like, to be honest, like, I think boring is a little bit of a harsh way to describe this, but I think I'm gonna put it in boring. I think the icon's great, I think the flavor is great, but like, it just doesn't really accomplish much. Next is the Fisherman, which I think on paper I love, and playing, before I ever learned how to storytell playing, I love the Fisherman, love being the Fisherman. God, I hate storytelling the Fisherman. It's like next to impossible for me to come up with something to tell them that's useful without it being too strong. This is probably one of the only roles that I like more as a player than as a storyteller. I think this role strongly belongs in this great but not for everyone, and the not everyone is the storyteller, man. It's so hard to give good info without giving it away. But really fun role. I do like kind of these once per game kind of flavor things, and they reset when you die or swap roles or stuff, and I think there's some opening like fun stuff there. Also potential for like Philosopher or Pixie type plays, and like just kind of really cool. Next up is Flowergirl. Flowergirl, I think, rewards some like high skill gamers, and I see some people in games that are like, guys, we have to split the votes for the Flowergirl, and it's like a little annoying when you're playing in those games, but like, damn, you gotta respect the grind set there. I think this role is pretty strong, but it's really not that crazy, and I definitely think something like this can be more interesting the more players you have, actually. And like, you know, as the evil team, when this is potentially in play, you kind of have to like throw out a lot of sus and try to get multiple nominations going, so you get like almost everyone voting, so that the good team can't be like, okay, only you 6 people vote today. So I think it leads to some good potential play from both teams, and I think it's pretty cool. I think I'd probably put it around like here, actually. I kind of like that one. Next up is the Fool. I think the Fool's interesting. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, coming from TB initially and then learning about this. I remember thinking it was kind of like the Soldier X, the Soldier Plus, Soldier 2.0, but not quite. The surviving executions element of it is interesting. The way it interacts with Al-Hadikia is interesting. Like, it's kind of a cool role. I do think when you are the Fool, there's like almost no benefit to pretending that you're anything else, though. I feel like it's like almost impossible to bluff. The only role that can really concretely bluff this is like, I don't know, the Psychopath. Not really, right? The Leech. But it's like such a, like, when you're the Leech and you claim Fool, it's like so obvious that you're either the Leech or the Fool. Like, you put yourself into such a box with that. And then the same goes for when you're the Fool and there's a Leech on the script and you claim Fool and you are the Fool. People are like, oh, you're the Leech. You know, it's just, this role is kind of whatever. I don't know. I think I'm kind of on the mixed train here for this guy. Can be interesting, but the times I've played as Fool are not interesting games. I feel very low agency, and like as a storyteller, I don't feel like it adds that much. Yeah. Next up, we have FT. Oh my god. You're thinking it's going to be up here next to Empath, but I just don't like it quite as much. I'll probably put it like about right there. Pretty similar to Empath. I mean, TB type info gainers is pretty simple. I do think you have some nice agency as the storyteller to pick who the red herring is going to be. I love picking people in the group who just have like innate sus between games, because it's just like, oh, that person's good at the game. If they're evil, I'm not gonna be able to tell. So if you make them the red herring, then the FT's gonna be like, yeah, I told you that motherfucker was evil. And then it's like, oh, they actually weren't evil. I just knew that you would think that they were. So that's cool. Gambler. Right in the top tier. This role goes crazy. This role is so sick. You get to like learn some info, you get to risk your life, you get to get killed by the demon and think you got it wrong when you got it right. Oh my god. This role is super shiesty, super shiesty, really cool. I think maybe the only thing missing from it is some potential of like evil bluffing, but I don't know, I feel like evil team, get creative, you could probably bluff that. Next up is the General. Oh my god. Please tell me this isn't the one that I think it is. This is probably one of the worst roles in the game. Dude, this role is stinky bad. Oh my, this one's worse than the Banshee. You learn who the storyteller thinks is winning? Okay. It feels so pointless, man. It feels so stupid. And guaranteed, if this is on the script and not in play, evil will be bluffing it because it's so easy to bluff. Oh my god, bro. It's so... You just say something. It doesn't mean anything, I feel like. I mean, I guess... Like, the storyteller has a pretty good grasp on if it's good, evil, or neither winning the game, but, like... Dude, I've been this role, and I get told the info, and I'm like, okay, yeah, you're telling me evil's winning? I already knew that. We haven't executed anyone, and it's day 5. Like, of course evil's winning. Like, it's just stupid. I don't know. And next up, we've got the sauce. It's Gossip. Oh my god, BMR with these G rolls. I'm telling you, I see another one coming up in a second here. But the Gossip is just super shiesty. I'm actually, never mind. I'm going to drop it by 1, just because sometimes people bluffing it pisses me off just a little bit. Sometimes people take a little too long, and they be saying statements that aren't even believable. It's like, why are you even bluffing this? Because it's clearly not you. But this role is really cool. I really like this role. If only people just played it at a little bit of a higher skill ceiling, or sorry, skill floor. If the skill floor for this role was a little higher, it would be top tier, but I think the skill floor is just at the absolute basement. And people just be like saying, I'm not the Gossip, as their Gossip, and it's like, okay, cool. Like, it's pointless. Next up is Grandmother. I think Grandmother's a really good You Start Knowing. Probably better than Clockmaker for my money. And I really like when this is on the script. And I really like storytelling it. And I think it goes really well with something like a Cannibal or a Pixie or a Philosopher. I'm a really big fan of this role. I think I'd put it up here. I think this is a good spot for it. Below Empath, below Bounty Hunter. Though it would look nice right here. Yeah, this is like a pretty fun role. I think it's fun to play as, it's fun to play with it on the script, it's fun to bluff, it's fun for the storyteller. I really am a big fan of this. Oh my god, High Priestess! We just had General, and this one is also fucking terrible! This one is so stupid, man! Oh my god, this one sucks! As the storyteller, I'm like, who do I tell them to talk to? Just because you talk to someone doesn't mean you're gonna trust them. I mean, I guess, like, if you're the High Priestess and you believe you're not drunk or poisoned, you should probably believe what that person says. But why should that person believe you that you're the High Priestess and you were told to talk to them? It's so easy to bluff that. It's like, if anyone ever walks up to me and goes, oh, storyteller told me to talk to you, I'm High Priestess, I'd be like, okay, get away from me, evil player. Like, I don't know, man. This role is so sauceless, so boneless, nothing going on there. Jesus Christ. Next up is Huntsman. There's some big Huntsman haters. In my expanded group. I'm not sure I totally am on board with the Huntsman hate allegations, but I don't think this role is good. I think it's kind of a neutral for me, honestly. I think I'd probably put it right about here. I do think it adds the damsel, which is, I don't think that. I know that it adds the damsel, and I do think that's a pretty big drawback for the good team. But man, if you hit the damsel with the Huntsman, good team should win. If the storyteller does not reward the damsel by giving them the strongest possible role in play, I don't know what that storyteller is doing. But I think the damsel is a good, interesting role, and I think forcing it to be added with this role and letting it interact with this role is interesting as well. I think that the path for minions to bluff this is really strong. I think that it adds like a little sub game that lets minions be more engaged in the game, because sometimes minions just don't do anything. Like, if you're Scarlet Woman or Baron, I'm not saying they're bad characters. I'm just saying, you're not really actively doing anything as those characters. So having this little hunt for who's the damsel and, I'm the huntsman, come talk to me if you're the damsel kind of stuff is interesting. But I do agree that the role is a little bit on the weaker side. I think there should maybe be some extra something that it should get at the start of the game, or something, maybe like on night 3 learn a player that it isn't, or something. I don't know, it just needs a little bit more strength. It's a little bit on the weaker side, I think. Kind of bad for town. Give me 1 second. Next up we have the Innkeeper. It's just kind of worse monk, no? I mean, I guess you keep people from dying, so something like a gossip or a gambler kill wouldn't go through. One of them's drunk. It adds to the layers of the puzzle and shit. It's so very BMR coded to just be really confusing. How did this many people die last night? Did I get drunk or not? I mean, it fits good on BMR. It fits well on BMR for sure. I don't think I've experienced this on any other script and thought, wow, Innkeeper's so cool. So, I mean, I think I'm probably in the here category. This is more neutral feelings, mixed feelings a little bit further down. Maybe I should have separated these, but I feel like they're pretty similar. Next up we have Investigator. I don't like this role. I think this role is often way too strong. I think as the storyteller, it's pretty hard to put this in play and you're just giving them a 50-50 on a minion. Unless you make the other person in the 50-50 really important to the good team, it's just kill both of them, right? Just take the first 2 days and kill both of them, especially if it's a minion that does something. Yeah, sure, if it's the Baron, okay. But I mean, even that's really powerful, because now you're telling the good team, those people who are claiming outsider aren't lying. I mean, I guess there's the chance that the investigator got poisoned or drunk, but I just don't like this role. I feel like this role has a really high win rate for a You Start Knowing, and so, I don't know. I think maybe I've just been playing it with some bad storytellers or something. I almost want to put it in bad design. I don't think that's quite correct, and I don't think boring is correct either, so I'll put it down here at the bottom, neutral mixed, but yeah, just not really a big fan. Juggler, I shit on this role earlier. This role's pretty funny. Bluffing this role is actually hilarious. Sometimes you can, if you're just aggressive enough with it, people will just tell you their role on day 1. I've done this as Demon a few times. It's pretty funny. People just be like, Juggle Me is this. And I go, okay, got it. You bet, brother. And people just tell you their role. It's really funny. So a little annoying with people claiming it. I do always do the joke as storyteller. If there's ever Juggler and Philosopher on the same page, I always, on day 2, day 3, day 4, I'm like, does anyone want to juggle? So yeah, I think this one kind of belongs in here. I'd probably put it at the top of good generally. Yeah, I don't think it's quite up here in the great but not for everyone tier. Next up we have the King with the fleur de lis. Why is the King not a crown? Am I crazy? I'm actually second guessing myself on if this is the king or not. It is the king. Why is it not a crown? Weird. This guy is boring. This guy's boring to play as. This guy is like, the only interesting part about this is like, they're like, I'm outed by the evil team. I'm the king. And they can just tell people right away. And that's kind of an interesting dynamic, being like this outed good player that's strong. But like, meh. I don't know. I've seen this shit get to late game and actually learn info like one time ever. And it helped the good team win, I think. Or maybe he was evil and he was bluffing and it helped the good team lose? I don't remember. I just think this role, like, if I pull this role, I'm, like, bored. I'm like, dude, could you have given me something more interesting? And, like, as storyteller, this character isn't that interesting because it's like, when you get down to the end, if this is still in play, it's like, holy fuck, what can I tell them? Especially if they get more than one night of info, it's just like the game just gets solved when you just get told whose character is who or whatever. I'm just now realizing I've never experienced a drunk king. That sounds kind of fucking hilarious because the demon wouldn't know that they're in play. And then, oh my god, and then imagine Evil Bluffs having Choirboy. Oh, that could be so shiest. The minions claiming Choirboy. They're linking up with the king. The king is drunk the whole time. They get down to the end. You start telling them people's roles, but they're all wrong. Oh, that sounds so hype, actually. Not escaping the allegations. We will put this one above Farmer. It's definitely more interesting than Farmer, but just barely. Knight is really cool. Knight's a start knowing fortune teller functionally. I would say it's probably around chef level. Generally pretty good, pretty interesting. People meta this a lot, and they're like, oh, one of the people you showed me was a minion because you wanted me to trust the two people I saw, but I knew one of them has to be a minion because otherwise it'd be too obvious if you showed me two townsfolk. And I think as a storyteller, it's kind of hard to get away from that because if you just show them two townsfolk, sometimes people are just going to be like, oh, I trust these two people. And it's like, no, that's not your ability. Doesn't tell you could trust them. But then you show them one minion, one townsfolk, and they go, yeah, I know one of them's a minion. I'm not going to trust either of them. And it's like, fuck, man. It's like, there's no winning as storyteller for this guy. Yeah. Librarian, kind of goob shiest. Kind of like the Investigator, but like good. We're going to put this guy pretty high up, to be honest. Is he better than Clockmaker? Maybe not. Maybe around here. I like the Librarian a lot. I'm a big fan of Librarian. I've seen a Librarian 0 game one time ever. I've seen Evil Bluff a Librarian 0 game. Kind of interesting. Obviously, I've seen this role a jillion times because I've played TB so much. But, yeah, pretty good role. Not too much to say. It's not too complicated. Next up is Lycanthrope. I have played with this a few times. I think I'm going to put this here. It hasn't left a big impression on me. I've definitely played a script with it on at least like 5 times, and I've played with it in the game at least twice, but I just haven't really experienced it doing anything, so I just have to leave it there. Next up is Magician. This is pretty much just Poppy Grower, but better. But not exactly one-to-one better, because there are some interesting things that Poppy Grower does that this doesn't do, but this, like, requires some, like, supreme level acting. This shit is super fucking hard to play as. I think this is actually kind of perfect for the great but not for everyone tier. And then not everyone is the person who pulls the Magician token, man. I mean, this is probably the hardest townsfolk role to play well. But if you do play it well, you pretty much just figure out who the evil team is and win for your team instantly. So, high burden, high risk, high reward. I think I'd put it probably around here, to be honest. I'm a pretty big fan. Next up, we have the Mathematician. This role is kind of boring. I don't know. You can fuck with them a little bit as storyteller, especially in like a Vortox game. I love just giving them the same number every night, and then on the last night giving them a fucking random number. Pretty funny. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. I think we'll put it good generally. I think we're probably around here for me on that one. Next up's the Mayor. I used to love the Mayor. I used to put the Mayor like probably at the top of great but not for everyone, but now I'm probably like around here. I'm probably around there on it. Where's some Fisherman? Maybe better than Fisherman. Pretty interesting role for sure, but just like I feel like it's a little played out at this point in time. I don't know. I think I've just seen everything that evil team can do by bluffing. I've seen every way that you can play this as the good team. I've seen people win with it. I've seen people lose with it. I've seen people win by bluffing it. I've seen people lose trying to bluff it. I mean, there's only so much Mayor interactions you can see before you're kind of like, okay, I've seen it all. Minstrel. Did anyone else say BMR boring? Boring. Sorry, I put it in bad design initially. That's incorrect. It's just boring. It's definitely more interesting than Courtier. No, it's less interesting. Courtier at least picks something. This role does fucking... Oh my god, man. You don't do anything. Like, yes, you literally do have an ability, but you don't choose anything. It's just this passive-ass fucking thing that you have so little control over. You don't learn anything about who's potentially a minion. And, like, sometimes as, you know, as a role, you're, like, trying to convince people to vote someone out on the basis of being minion, and they're, like, you know, the good logic, the correct logic as town is, like, okay, we know this person, we know person A is a minion, but the demon is either person B or person C. Let's ignore person A and vote out B or C today. You know, and it's just like, I just feel like that makes so much more sense. It's like, this role doesn't do anything. Even when it goes off, it's just like, you just paused a day and then confirmed yourself? Like, I don't know. It's just not interesting at all. This role sucks, dude. Next up's Monk. Monk is kind of quintessential to Clock Towerian-esque games. It's, you know, one of the only roles that exists in Mafia. I think... You know, and there's also some interesting interactions with it, cleansing poison or Vortox negativity. So I think stuff like that is pretty cool, actually, and I think it kind of belongs up here. Probably more interesting than this and this. Maybe here. Maybe here. Yeah, I mean, I think this role is, like, pretty phenomenal. Next up is Nightwatchman. This role is pretty cool. It's kind of like you start knowing, but not really. You get to choose when to do it, and you don't actually learn anything. Pretty interesting, actually. Kind of a nice change on stuff. I think this one is actually up here too. Very bluffable for evil. I think that's a great spot for it. Very bluffable for evil. I think when I get this role, it's kind of interesting and exciting. Adds some dynamic. You get like tethered to another person. You kind of have to find someone you already trust, but doesn't necessarily trust you. This is a really cool role. Noble, a really, really good start knowing. Better than Clockmaker? I don't think so. Better than Librarian? I also don't think so. Better than Balloonist? Probably yes. Probably right there. I'm a pretty big fan of Noble. I think that one's pretty interesting. Definitely plays well with stuff like Philosopher, Pixie, Cannibal. Cool role. Next up is Oracle. This role is so boring, man. This role, like, when you are this role, it's like, you just, like... I don't like removing the allure of, like, oh, that person who died, did we actually hit a dead player or not? Like, you know, obviously you can't always trust your info. You could be poisoned, you could be drunk, the Oracle could be lying. But, like, when I'm evil and I die, I don't want the game to be over for me. I want to keep playing. And when there's an Oracle who's going around being like, yeah, he died last night, and so I know he's evil because I got a 1 last night. Now no one wants to talk to me? Dude, this shit ruins the game. It's strong, but, like, man, dude, like, I don't know, top of boring tier for me. Pacifist, boring, BMR boring, calling in. This role does fucking literally nothing. Oh my god, this role does actually fucking nothing. Holy shit, this role's so boring. Philosopher, kind of goated with the sauce. I don't think I have to explain that one at all. Next up, we have Pixie. Oh my god, goated among the goats. Definitely one of the best roles in all of Clock Tower. Poppy Grower. I think I'm actually super duper mixed on Poppy Grower. I think Poppy Grower can be really good for the game. I think it enables, like, you know, some extra bluffs for evil because they know if Poppy Grower is in the game or not. I think that you can play around Poppy Grower by having, like, certain evil that are outed, like a Vizier or like a Psychopath. But I think it just generally feels really bad on the evil team to play with this in play, and it's not really fun to be the Poppy Grower. And, like, it's good on the town. Like, it's good for the town when there's Poppy Grower, but, like, man, dude, I've literally seen the thing happen where Poppy Grower gets poisoned night 1 and then gets executed day 2, and then, like, the evil team never learns who each other are because the Poppy Grower text says when you die, they learn who each other are, but if you're poisoned, then they never learn. I just don't... I don't know. I think from, like, a macro level, as the storyteller, like, I think this has some value, but, like, playing with it, playing against it, playing as it are all just kind of boring. It's certainly worse than this. It's probably right there. This is the minion one. What's this called? Preacher? I forgot the text on this one. I'm sorry, I have to look this up. Choose a player. A minion, if chosen, learns this. All chosen minions have no ability. To be honest, I don't think I've ever seen this do anything. I've seen this in a bunch of games. I've never seen it have a big impact. Definitely someone picked me with this once when I was Mizephiles, shortly after someone said the word, but it was already too late. I think this one, I think I've experienced enough to not put it here, but I think I just don't have strong feelings on it. I'm pretty neutral, so I think I'll put it right about there. Next up, we have Princess. I've literally never played with this. This is a pretty new role. I have no experience with it at all. To be honest, I forgot what it does. I think it's like you have to nominate and execute someone on your first day or something like that. On your first day, if you nominate and execute a player, the demon doesn't kill tonight. Yeah, I mean, could be interesting. I have no idea. Next is Professor. Kind of boring. Hard to be this role. I've been this role before, and it's difficult to decide if you're picking the right person or not, or if you waste it or whatever, or if you revive someone that's not really worth reviving. Also, like, you can get the fucky wucky with the Shabaloth. I kind of hate this role because it's impossible to bluff for evil, unless it's Shabaloth, exactly. So, I kind of think this one's bad design, just because literally the only thing that this can go counter with is the Shabaloth. So it can't exist on a script that doesn't have Shabaloth on it, and it's just not that fun of a role to play either. I'm putting it at the top of bad design. Now we have Ravenkeeper. Just like the Banshee and the Farmer, only does something if you die, but I think it just has way more sauce. When you die, you get agency, and then you get to pick someone, and you learn their role, but maybe you're poisoned. Oh my god, man, there was a stretch for me. I think in one day I was Ravenkeeper 3 times. I got the ability to pop all 3 times. I was poisoned 2 of the 3 times, and all 3 times the person I picked, I got shown demon. So, very frustrating sometimes playing as Ravenkeeper, but I think this role is pretty good. I don't really like having to be killed by the demon for your role to do anything. I'd probably put it above Fisherman, below Mayor. Next up is Sage. Again, very similar role. Much less interesting than Ravenkeeper, but I'd say good generally. Probably around here. Yeah, that seems about right. Next up is Sailor, another BMR boring role. Doesn't die unless they do. Poisons other people on their team. Never poisons the evil team. Kind of whatever. Yeah, I think I'm pretty neutral on this one. I think I'd probably put it around here. Yeah. Savant. Oh my god, I used to be so high on this, and as time passes, I only like it less and less and less and less. It's so hard to storytell. It's really hard to be this role and feel like you're getting anything out of it. Or it feels like you just get the whole world. You get the sun and the moon and the stars and everything given to you. I think I'd probably put it like up here above Chef. Seamstress, boring. Super boring. But honestly, it's good for the game. It's good for the game. From a storyteller perspective, I think this role is really important. It almost always does something. It almost never solves the whole fucking thing. Yeah, good generally. Probably Mathematician area for me. Shugenja! I didn't know this was an official character. I thought this guy was experimental still. I've only played this guy on like homebrew type scripts. Pretty fun role. Yeah, pretty cool. I like this. You kind of get like that soft confirm on your neighbor. Because you learn left and you're like, oh, I can talk to my guy on my right. Pretty fun. You start knowing. Definitely not as good as any of these 3. I think I'd put it like around here-ish? I don't know. It doesn't really feel like it fits the flavor of great but not for everyone. Because I don't know. I can't name the person it's not great for. But I would say this is better than good, but not as good as great for everyone. So it's kind of stuck in the middle of these 2. I think you can kind of say the same for these other You Start Knowings, because I don't know who the not everyone is. I mean, with Noble actually kind of, the not everyone's the one evil player, because you have higher odds if you just kill those 3 players that you're going to hit an evil player. Yeah. Slayer ends games in kind of an anticlimactic fashion sometimes. Kind of annoying on how often people fucking bluff this shit. I feel like I've seen fucking everything the Slayer can do. They hit the demon, but it goes to the Scarlet Woman. They hit the Recluse, and the Recluse dies. I don't know. They hit the leech target, and the game ends. Like, it's okay. It's an okay role. I really can't complain too much, but I'm not a huge lover of this. I think I'd put it somewhere around there. Snake Charmer, kind of super saucy, super spicy. Makes some good, fun stuff. Also really strong for the good team. I think this is actually another one. I forget what I said this for before. Who did I say it for before? It was great, but not for everyone. The Magician. This is the Snake Charmer. It's the same exact thing. Great, but not for everyone. The person it's not great for is the Snake Charmer. It's also actually not great for the evil team, but it is great for the good team. Oh my god, this role has to have such a high good team win rate, but overall probably like a 50-50 win rate, because when you switch to evil, you almost always lose. Next is Soldier. This is kind of the epitome of boring. It's pretty important for the scope of the game, the scale of the game, so I think I'd put it above the boring tier, unfortunately. I'd say I'm kind of neutral on it. I like it more than that. I like it more than that. Yeah, kind of similar feelings with Poppy Grower. I feel like it's important to the game. I feel like it plays an important role. It's not that fun to be this role. It's not that fun to be evil team against this role, but it is what it is. There it is. This guy is, starts with an S or a T? Oh fuck, I forgot what this role is. Whoopsie toodles, give me a second here, friends. Oh no, guys, I'm struggling right now. It starts with an S. I'm so sure it's the Steward. It's the Steward. But what does this do? Let me scroll. Okay, Steward. You start knowing one good player. Oh, okay. So it's kind of like Nightwatchman. This is boring. Not really, but like I mean I get the value of it. It's just like kind of less interesting grandmother, I feel like. It's not boring and it's good for the game, but like it's just like this is like kind of like day one, we're coming up with a social deduction game. Let's come up with some roles for it, and we came up with this. Because how could you not come up with this instantaneously? So I'm going to put this in the generally good category. I haven't played with it that much, but I played with it enough. And I mean, what is there beyond the surface of this one? I guess you can sometimes learn the spy or something. Like, it's just not that interesting. Probably put it like about there. Next up is the Tea Lady. I hate this role. This role is so boring. This role only exists on BMR. It doesn't exist anywhere else, and I hate BMR. If I have to see another person claim Tea Lady as the devil's advocate, I think I'm gonna hack into the mainframe and delete BMR from all the servers, and no one's ever gonna play BMR ever again. This role is giga boring. Alright, next, Town Crier. Oh, this one's kind of like Flowergirl. A little bit less so. A little bit harder to force people to nom rather than force people to vote, but can definitely provide some pretty good info, pretty good for the good team. Can also get fucked by like Vortox or poisoning or whatever. Also, only learning minions isn't really that powerful, so I'd put this kind of probably in this tier around here. Probably like Shigenja just a little bit more. Next is the Undertaker. To be honest, I used to love this role. Don't really like it that much anymore. As a storyteller, it's fucking hilarious when they get poisoned or drunk. I love showing them random fucking bullshit. Random bullshit, go! I also like when they're not drunk and they don't trust their info. That's kind of fun, but yeah, this character is just like a worse version of the Cannibal, but honestly, just slightly worse. I'll put him right there. All right, we're getting the tier list is getting a little tall here. Next up, we have the Village Idiot. This thing is kind of hilarious. Definitely a little bit of annoying. Definitely a little bit of a distraction at times, but pretty funny. Pretty fun. I think it's fun to play with and against. It's easy to bluff for evil. Like, you can kind of get in there and get saucy with it. So I think this one deserves its spot somewhere up here. To be honest, probably right there. I'm a pretty big fan of it. Next is the Virgin. This is such a strong role. Has some fun, interesting things. I've seen it on a Vortox script, and they nominate themselves to get executed and end the day so that the evil team wouldn't win. Pretty good role, to be honest. I think it's maybe just a touch too strong is the only reason I wouldn't put it in Great for All, but I'd probably put it above the Atheist in Great for All. I mean, these 5 roles right here are all like on the verge of being in Great for All, I would say. I think the Atheist is kind of the gatekeeper of certainly great, but not for everyone. Next up is this clothesline thing. This is an outsider. We made it to the outsider. So I was going to say, there's no fucking townsfolk that looks like that. What was that last one? The Virgin. Makes sense with a V. So this is an outsider, not a townsfolk. And I forget the name of this guy, too. That's kind of interesting. I've forgotten a couple. It's the first one. Starts with an A. Barber is the first one alphabetically that I'm seeing. And that's certainly not Barber, is it? It's definitely not. Barber would be the second one pictured there. I don't know what this role is. Is this a townsfolk? Oh, this is Washwoman? No way. Did they change this icon? That's so funny that I didn't recognize Washwoman. I feel like this icon had to have gotten changed. There's no way I flopped on that. All right, well, Washwoman's probably... It's the last townsfolk. I think this one is kind of not that amazingly interesting. I think this one is sort of... I don't know. It's definitely got more sauce than the steward, but it has less sauce than the chef. So it's somewhere in here. Probably around the same as the knight, I'd say. Honestly, less interesting than this and this. I'd put it right there. Yeah, so that's it for the townsfolk. I'm thinking, do I want to put everything in one tier list? Yeah, might as well. Why not? Fuck it, we ball. There's more townsfolk than anything else. Okay, so we're on to the outsiders. And something that I think is super important when it comes to outsiders is they have to be bad for the good team. And I think a lot of outsiders, for some reason, just aren't. And they are going to end up in the bad design category instantly. I think another thing with outsiders is it's so easy to make them boring on accident. So I think a lot of outsider rankings I'm going to be rating kind of on the low side. I think I like most townsfolk more than I like most outsiders. So off rip, Barber. Feels so bad to be the barber. But hey, man, it's an outsider. It's supposed to be, feels so sick to kill the barber as the demon. Oh, so epic. This shit goes absolutely crazy. When it hits for the demon just fucking owns everyone. It's full value own. This one is probably one of the best outsiders, I feel like. I don't know. I haven't looked at the rest of them, so I might be wrong here. I'd probably put it, honestly, at like the bottom of this tier. Next up, we have the butler. The role sucks. This role is so terrible. I don't think I have to explain that. It's like impossible to storytell, enforce correctly. Playing it sucks. Playing with it sucks. You get to the final 3 and this just ruins the game. It's so terrible. Next is the damsel. I mentioned this earlier when I was talking about the huntsman. I think I'll just put it right next to the huntsman. No, to be honest, the huntsman is a worse townsfolk than this is an outsider. I think I'd put this up one. It adds something to do for the minions, which I think is important and fun. And yeah, in general, I kind of do like the damsel, though playing as the damsel sucks. The drunk is one of the best characters in the game. Probably one of the most interesting things that BOTC has to offer. To be honest, it might be passing the Pixie. I think the drunk is the best character in the entire game. It's so good. The golem is horribly designed. It's pretty much just the townsfolk in outsider clothing. You literally just get to point at someone sus, and if they die, they were probably a minion. And if they don't die, they were probably the demon. You can vote them out and win. Not interesting at all. The goo one is weirdo. I've played with it a few times. I don't have strong feelings on it. I think I'd probably put it in this category. I'm just going to put it at the end instead of trying to figure out where it goes in here. I'm pretty neutral on it, I'd say. Next up, we have the Hatter. To be honest, I've played with this on the script a bajillion zillion times. I don't think I've ever played with it being in the game. Yeah. Next up, we have the Heretic. This thing is hilarious, but kind of bad for the game. It just adds like a layer of complexity that's just a little bit annoying. Pretty much only good if you're going to play like a game that's designed to end quickly. There's a Teensyville script called Nobody Fucking Move that takes less than 15 minutes to run from start to end. And for that script, this is perfect because it's funny. But if you're playing like a full Clock Tower game and it's 2.5 hours, 3 hours long, and Heretic is in play, and one team doesn't know that it's in play and the other team does, and that team plays for their normal win condition, but then they lose because this is in play, it just feels so bad. It feels like such a waste of time. I don't know. Hermit on paper, super awesome. I'd love to see some good scripts with this, play an interesting script with this. Have yet to play with it, so it's going to go down here in the haven't experienced it enough tier. Klutz, this character, I just feel like it doesn't really do anything. I feel like the only value of it is that in general, when I see people that get this character, they try really hard not to die, which is good because outsiders who are okay just dying right away are basically not outsiders, in my opinion. They're just warm bodies for the good team to get rid of, to trim down the herd and get more information. But this one will at least try not to die. But I feel like very frequently this just clears someone from being good. I think also it's okay as a bluff for evil. So to be honest, I'm probably up here. I'm pretty mixed. I think this character is kind of boring design. I would never want to be this character, and I think this character helps the good team more often than not. But I do think it's a pretty strong evil bluff, and I do think that at least early days in the game, it helps the evil team by staying alive. So that's something. Lunatic is horrible. This shit has to have the highest win rate out of any outsider. This shit is literally just a townsfolk. I don't understand why it's an outsider. The person who's the lunatic never believes they're the demon after like day 3 or 4. They're never trying to help the evil team win the game. They're always trying to help the good team win the game. You know, they get told a demon and who their minions might be, and they should go talk to those people, and like they can divulge all this info of like, hey, you're my minion, and usually it's pretty obvious when someone reacts in a certain way if they actually are a minion or not. And so if they just reveal, oh, I talked to this person, told them they were my minion, and they acted totally normal and cool with it, that probably means they're a minion. I don't understand why we have an outsider who's gaining this much info. Like, it's like funny in concept, but like it literally never works out in the evil team's favor to have a lunatic in play. Next up is the Moonchild. I pretty much always confuse this with the Klutz. Yeah, it's very Klutz coded. I don't feel like this role is hard. Like, it's impossible for me to separate from Klutz. It's pretty similar. I mean, I guess it actually has a little bit more bones than Klutz, because at least if you reveal that someone's good and you actually are the Moonchild, they die. But actually, I'm going to drop it, literally a full tier, because it's impossible for evil to bluff this effectively, because that person will just die. I mean, I suppose the demon could kill them, but like, if you're the demon and the Moonchild did pick someone and that person was good and they were going to die, why would you waste your kill on that person if they're already going to die? I don't like that this role is harder for evil to bluff, and I just don't really feel like it serves the evil team that much. Yeah. I guess, never mind. We can buff it back up here, because evil team could bluff it, and evil team, I've never seen anyone do this, but evil team could bluff it. They could pick someone. That person doesn't die because the person who was claiming Moonchild isn't the Moonchild, but then that person who's claiming the Moonchild could say, oh, they didn't die because they're evil. They must be a minion or demon. We should vote them out. So that could work to evil team's favor. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's pretty much just the Klutz. Next up is the Mutant. I think this role is pretty funny. But yeah, I don't know. It's actually probably one of the more interesting outsiders to play as. I think I'll put it up here. Next we have the Ogre. I heard someone else did this tier list on some YouTube video recently, and they rated this as the best character in the game. That's hilarious. This character is okay. You're basically just a big ol' simp for someone else. Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of fun. It could help the evil team. There's a Traveler, I believe, that has an ability that's something like, or maybe this is a homebrew character, but it's like you become the alignment of the first person executed, and I think that is a much more interesting concept for an outsider of this variety, because if you just pick a good guy, like, I don't know, if you just pick a good guy that you know is someone in your friend group that plays the game pretty straight, then, like, you just know you're on the good team. And then this is just an outsider that's just helping the good team. Like, it doesn't help the evil team at all. And it's like, yeah, I mean, probably the most interesting thing to do is pick your friend that's like a psychopath that you can never tell if they're good or evil, and then you just have to spend the whole game like doing whatever they're doing. But meh, whatever. I mean, it's a pretty good role. It's a pretty good role, but I don't think it's great. So actually, that means it belongs here. The Plague Doctor, super turbo duper boring. Literally just exists for the storyteller to make themselves more important. Politician, oh my god, this role has the potential. It has the sauce to be up here. I've never seen anyone utilize it. Everyone just plays for the good team, and they're basically just a abilityless good player. It's like, what are we doing, man? What are we doing? I don't know. Maybe if I played with some more saucy players, it can bump up. Puzzle Master, this role's pretty interesting. It's kind of like the drunk, but not the drunk. I think it belongs up here for sure. I think it's pretty great, actually. The other part of it, where you guess who the drunk is and you learn the demon, I don't really understand the point of that. I don't think that needs to be there. I think this shit could literally just be like, you don't have an ability, but you make someone else drunk. But whatever, I guess it's just to add some extra something or other. I think the Recluse is really interesting, storyteller-wise, for like giving people info. But oh my god, the meta is so solved with this thing. Whenever anyone claims Recluse, you just kill them. And whoever's Recluse should just be fine getting executed. It's impossible for evil to bluff as Recluse, because the Recluse doesn't serve any purpose. And there's not really any incentive to keep outsiders in play. And there's no drawback for this person claiming Recluse and saying, hey, I'm Recluse, you can execute me. this role does nothing. It's so boring. I mean, it's certainly better than these other outsiders because these are the worst outsiders, and it's probably better than a few of these townsfolk. But I'm just gonna leave the townsfolk and outsiders separate in terms of ordering. Well, did I do that all the way? Yeah, I think I have. Other than Drunk, because Drunk's the best character in the game. Next is the Saint. Yeah, I don't know. This role feels so terrible to play as, but I think it's pretty important to the game. So I think we'll put it like there. It's probably one of the highest up here. It's just quite not good. It's just so boring to be the Saint, and it's just so annoying to play around when people are claiming Saint. So I'm just gonna leave it as sort of a neutral mixed feeling. I think it's really important for the gameplay, and I think it's a really good evil bluff, even though it's kind of a bad evil bluff, but you get what I mean. Next is Snitch. I've literally never seen this in play. This has been on so many scripts that I've played with. I've never seen it in play. Actually, that's a lie. I think I saw it one time, and I was a townsfolk, so I didn't gain the benefit of getting the bluffs. And I don't remember if I felt like the evil team's bluffs. I haven't had enough experience. I don't know. Sweetheart. This one is kind of boring, I think. I think this one just kind of isn't that interesting. Probably more interesting than this. Is it as good as these? No. I mean, you're literally, it's like a, an outsider version of like the Farmer, Ravenkeeper, Seer, kind of. It's like you don't even you do literally nothing until you die. And then when you die, you drunk one person. And as a storyteller, it's like, how much do you hurt the good team with that? I don't know. It's whatever. Tinker, this role is so stupid. This role is so stupid. I mean, it's better than these, but like, honestly, it's probably not even better than Butler. This role is so dumb. Like, yeah, there's stuff you can do with like Yaga Bobble or like, I don't know, obfuscating deaths in the night or whatever, but like, this is just another character. It's like, why would they not just claim who they are? The only use case for, like, I mean, I guess you don't want to claim who you are because you're hoping that you can bluff being strong and then an evil player can, like, waste a kill on you. But, like, okay. I don't know. It's just not... This role is... It's just nothing. I pull this from the bag and I'm like, why am I even playing Clock Tower? Zealot is hilarious. Super funny. Really obnoxious. Anytime this is on the script, everyone is bluffing it. But, you know, you got to take the good with the bad. So now we are on to the minions. And when I think about minions, I think about how you're going to play the character, what you can do, what sort of impact you can have, etc. But I think minions are probably the most straightforward because the good team can't bluff minions like the evil team can bluff townsfolk, and their role is very defined. I don't think there are, I mean, maybe as we're going through I might change my tune on this, but I don't think there are any minions that help the good team win the game. Their ability is to help the evil team, is to enable the demon to win the game, and they all kind of do that. So they're unlike outsiders in that way, because outsiders' role is to enable the evil team to win the game while being on the good team, but a lot of them enable the good team to win the game for inexplicable reasons. I guess I say a lot of them. It's really just these two idiots that help the good team win for no apparent reason. So first up we have the Assassin. I think the Assassin is kind of boring to play as. I think it's good from the perspective of like, how did so many kills happen last night? How many kills were there? Oh, there was 2 last night, there's 3 last night, whatever. Like, okay, sure. And it has the like extra thing of going through protection, which only really matters for a few roles: Tea-Lady, Monk, Innkeeper, Soldier, Fool. So it can matter, but not a ton. I think I'd probably put it up here, to be honest. We'll see. I might reevaluate that later. Baron is super, super shisty. Honestly, this role belongs up here. This role is so good. This role is like, when you are this role, you don't do anything, but like, I don't know, you're a minion. Just be a fucking weirdo. Just like say whatever you want to say, claim whatever you want, get caught in a lie and be like, nah, they're lying. And you know, because you already did something. And like adding outsiders is really strong. I think Baron probably is the highest win rate outsider on TB. But I don't know that. I'm just saying from my own experience. Next up is Boffin. I've played like one game with this. I don't think it did anything. Well, it does do something. It helps the demon a lot, but it's so boring, man. Honestly, I just know that it belongs in boring. I know for a fact. There's literally no way that this is anything other than boring. Because how could it not be boring? you don't do any. I mean, you do something. Don't get me wrong, but you yourself don't do anything. You're like the Baron, but like you're relying on your demon to do something. Whereas like as the Baron, like you've messed up two good players' games. This, all you've done is made your demon a little bit stronger, but like I feel like the storyteller has to like ensure your demon is like actually getting something actionable, and your demon is like, you know, has to actually do something because you don't really have any agency. It just feels really bad, I feel like. And like when you die, your demon loses the ability, if I'm not mistaken. Whereas like as Baron, when you die, it's not like the outsiders turn back into townsfolk. So I just don't really like the boffin design at all. The demon, even if drunk or no poison, has a not in play good player's ability, good character's ability. You both know which. Yeah, so when you die, they lose the ability. It's like the Alchemist, you know, up here, Scheist, good player getting an evil player's ability. The boffin, not Scheist, evil player getting a good player's ability. Like, sure, there's some that it could be interesting, sure, but like, I don't know. A lot of them just don't seem that interesting to me. Maybe I should put it down here, but I don't think so. I've played with it the one time. Next up is the Boom Dandy. This one is hilarious on first read and like first time experiencing it, but like after that, it's like, dude, this is like so boring. I don't know. It's just a minion trying to get killed. Like the reward is like they have a decent chance of winning, I guess, but it just ends the game. I don't really like these game-ending rolls. Feels like kind of anticlimactic as opposed to like a vote and a discussion. So, I don't know. I'd probably put it here. Certainly better than the Boffin. Next up is Cernovis. Cernovis is super, super shisty. This roll is really cool. Definitely going up there. DA. DA T-Lady. BMR type stuff. So boring. I think this roll has some sauce, for sure. You can definitely do some fun, interesting stuff with this roll. But I feel like it's a little telegraphed, or like a little like, oh, how did they survive execution? Because there's really not that many ways for the good team to interact with this. And like if someone survives execution, there's not that many explanations. But you can really save your demon for sure with this. I don't know. I'm kind of torn between great but not for everyone and good generally. What else is in the great but not for everyone? I think it's a good generally for me. I just don't like BMR so much. It just really tears it down. Evil Twin is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. It's definitely great, but not for everyone. And I'll tell you it's not great for. It's not great for that Townsfolk player who's just trying to do their thing, man. And now they got some guy saying, no, that's actually my role. Sorry, brother. That's me. You're lying. When you win with this, you feel amazing. When you lose because of this, you feel terrible. Pretty fun roll. Next up is this guy, the Fearmonger. I've definitely played with this a couple of times. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have strong feelings. It's here because neutral, not because mixed. Like this is mixed, but this is neutral. I don't have strong feelings. Goblin, hilarious, super hilarious. Really good with Alchemist too. Some really good interactions. Helps the evil team a lot while not doing anything. Kind of feels Baron-esque to me. I think I like it more than those two. Next up is Godfather. This role, man, God, I can't get over how much I don't like BMR, guys. This role is just not that interesting. Learning who the outsiders are, I guess, can be something, but I feel like this is more interesting. The most interesting use case I saw for this was an alchemist being the Godfather and functionally turning into you start knowing that knew all outsiders in play. Because I remember they got the ability to kill someone at night and they just picked a dead body. Because of course you would. But, you know, I remember too, many times playing with this across more than one group, people were letting the Godfather get the kill if the demon killed an outsider. But that's not what it says. It says if an outsider died today, which means functionally execution, or I guess if the Tinker randomly exploded during the day, or the Recluse got shot by the Slayer, hypothetically, then you get that extra kill. But it just feels like when that goes off, it feels like you're almost confirming that outsider is an outsider. Like, you know, someone gets executed, now 2 people die tonight, and the only explanation is like, oh, Godfather got a kill. So that person we executed was an outsider. They're claiming outsider, so it makes sense. I just not really a big fan of this role. I don't think it's bad. I think outsider manipulation is pretty important as a storyteller. I'd probably put it here. Next up is the Harpy. This one got the text change. This one's pretty interesting. Definitely not as interesting as the Cernovis. but pretty strong, pretty fun to be the Harpy, I think. Kind of a little bit hard to storytell to enforce, but we'll probably put that in the great for but not for everyone kind of category. I think that's a good spot for it. Marionette, evil drunk, basically. I'm not super high on this, but I do think it belongs here. Mastermind, this role is so fucking boring, dude. Oh my god, you literally do nothing and then you just pray. You pray they kill your demon and then get confused, and then pray that they kill you or don't kill you the next day or whatever. That they kill one of themselves. I don't know. I feel like almost always this goes off and people are like, guys, it's Mastermind. Don't execute today. I don't know. I guess you could pull it off as a bluff, as the evil team, be really confident and build a really confident world that you executed the demon when you didn't, to give the demon an extra night. But the thing is, like, in order to pull that off, the demon has to not kill anyone that night. So it's like, what's the extra night worth? I guess if you have a Poe that's charging, I suppose. It's something. Mazephiles is hilarious. Honestly, I think I'd put Mazephiles up here. Not quite as strong as my favorite minions up here, but pretty cool. Organ Grinder, this shit has been changed more than once, I'm pretty sure. What does it say now? All players keep their eyes closed when voting and vote tally is secret. Each night, choose if you are drunk until dusk. I haven't played with it with this new text. Before I played with it, you could only get executed if you voted for yourself or something like that. I even when I played with it before, I just didn't really feel the impact that much. I'm going to leave it down here. I just haven't experienced it. Pit Hag is so shiced. This shit is a goob shiced. We're putting that up in great for all. It's actually terrible for the good team, but I mean, as a storyteller, as a demon, as the Pit Hag themselves, this role is sick. Next up is the Poisoner. I mean, this role is kind of just like quintessentially evil. This feels like as important to evil as something like Monk is to good. I think this role is really important. I think playing this role is pretty stressful because you can really make or break it for your team. If you hit good targets, you'll win. If you don't hit good targets, you'll do literally nothing. So there's that. Psychopath, fun, funny. I like to be it, but it's just kind of annoying, man. I just don't like this loud-ass minion distraction, being annoying every day, killing someone, and then being hard to kill back. And, like, if they just get lucky with a couple of rock, paper, scissors, you just lose the game as the good team. So I think I'm actually here on Psychopath. It's closer to good. It's closer to good than it is to boring, but, like, I'm pretty mixed. Scarlet Woman, I don't like being this role. I think it's pretty important with new players to give the demon an extra life just in case one of your new players is the demon and they're not confident. But, you know, like, there's so much stress and pressure on you as the Scarlet Woman who doesn't get bluffs, who, like, you know, doesn't have, like, this instant information access on day one to immediately claim something and, like, be able to stick to your story. You know, it's a lot of stress to, like, hold up this facade as the, you know, a good character, because if the demon dies and you become the demon but people thought you were a minion the whole game prior to that, then people are gonna be like, oh, well, you were the minion that we were pretty sure you were the minion. Now that we're pretty sure the demon's dead, then you must be the Scarlet Woman. And then I just feel like you lose a lot with this. And the other element of this that I really don't like is, like, you end up in situations where there's 5 people left alive and the Scarlet Woman and the demon are 2 of the 5, and then, like, let's say a third one of the 5 is another minion, and then it's just like, it feels like you just can't win as good. It's like, even if you hit the demon on that day, now the Scarlet Woman becomes the demon with 4 alive, they go to sleep, they kill someone, you wake up with 3 people, and it's like, we were so sure this one person was the demon, but now there's 2 evil players alive, we don't know which one's the minion and which one's the now demon, because we didn't know which minion was which. So I'm just not really, I don't think this role is that fun to play. I don't think this role is that fun to play against. I think most of the value of it is as the storyteller, allowing, like, newer, inexperienced players on evil team to have an extra life, functionally. So I would put this here, and you know what? Even if I was rating the minions against every other role in the tier, this would be at the bottom. This would be below every other role in the good generally. It's just barely more positive than neutral mixed. It's just barely more positive. Spy is pretty cool. I think underutilized. I don't really see a whole lot of spy scripts because it's just so strong. I think you can do a lot with it. I think the registering is good element of it is actually so unnecessary for this role to be good. But yeah, this role is really interesting. I think I've played Spy before where the storyteller doesn't update the grimoire with like actions that people took, so I don't get to learn stuff properly. Like, you're supposed to know who the washerwoman saw, you're supposed to know who the investigator and the librarian saw, you're supposed to know who the fortune teller's red herring is, like stuff like this. But you know, some storytellers don't give you that info, they just tell you who's which character. So that kind of lowers the ceiling sometimes, but I think I would probably put this like here. Next up is the Summoner. God, this role is so stressful to play as, and it's just kind of fucky-wucky, and I feel like when it hits, you win, and when it doesn't hit, you lose, and you didn't do anything. But I think it's pretty good. I think it's a really interesting dynamic, and it's pretty fun to play on the good team in a Summoner game. And, you know, there's always the excitement of, like, oh, I can become evil. Like, it's kind of funny to, like, play, like, you know, a certain way to set yourself up to become the demon and pray that you become the demon, and then if you don't, then you're like, man, this motherfucker didn't even pick me. So that's pretty funny. Then there is the Vizier. Wow, I double checked that this, I was pretty confident this was the Vizier, but I saw there were some other minions after, and I was like, there's no way there's that many minions after V, but there is indeed W, 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 and X. So this is the Vizier. This role is hilarious, super awesome on Alchemist script. Really big fan of this role, except actually it's super distracting and super annoying, kind of like the Philosopher, like the Psychopath, but I think it's less, you know, actively a threat annoying than this is. So I am going to put this up here. Is it as good as these? Not quite. Is it better? It's better than this and this and this and this. This. It's probably right there. I think that's a good spot for it. Next up is the Widow. It's the Spy, but somehow more powerful, but also less powerful. I don't know. This character is really strong. I feel like this character is hard to put on a script, hard to put in any given game. Yeah, feels pretty limited in like what kind of scripts you can put this on, in my experience. So I'll put it good generally. Probably about there. Next up is the Witch. The Witch is pretty spooky, pretty scary. I feel like this one ends up on a lot of custom scripts, but doesn't end up in a lot of games because people don't want to put it in play. It's just not that interesting. It can end up like making some stuff pretty anticlimactic, I would say, but I mean it's still pretty good. I think the design is pretty powerful, pretty nice, some good flavor. It does something that other roles don't do. Pretty cool. Then we have the Wizard. God, what a shite roll. So sick. I haven't played with the Wraith yet. I already know I don't like it. I don't feel like this does anything. I just feel like it opens up, you know, the door to like some obnoxiousness, and like I think this could be funny. You could like play it up as a joke as the Wraith and like mess with your friends when they're opening their eyes at night, but like that's not, is that interesting? I don't know. I don't think so. Next up we got the Zan. I don't have strong feelings about this. I'm pretty neutral overall. I'd put it right next to the Fearmonger. It's just kind of whatever. And so now we are on to the demons. Wow, very close to the end here. I will not be doing any of the Travelers or Fableds or whatever these green things are. I literally am not familiar with these. This is Bootlegger, but I don't know what the rest of these things are. This is a word in Arabic. We have the Al-Hadikia. I think the Al-Hadikia is pretty spicy. I think the Al-Hadikia kind of, you have to build a script around it, but it's a demon, so of course you do. Pretty cool, pretty fun. I'd put it up here. Fengu, pretty strong unless it's not. I feel like a lot of people fumble being Fengu, and like the games end up not being interesting, but this role is really, really powerful. I'd probably put it here. Imp, kind of quintessential. I think it belongs up here for sure. It belongs a spot up there. Kazali, really, really fun, really, really interesting. I'd put it right above Fengu. Legion, I actually have wanted to play a Legion game for forever, and I've still never played a Legion game. I've played with it on the script, but I've never played a Legion game, and it seems fun. I think I'd like it, but hard to say. Leviathan, if you build the script around it, really fun. Hard to be this character. Oh my god, hard to be this character. I think you could even argue boring, but I will not. I will call it generally good. Lil Monster, I'm kind of over this one. I've played with this in the script too many times at this point in time, but it is good design for the most part. It makes some interesting stuff happen. If you like minions, as you can tell, I like minions. You can really do some interesting stuff with this. So I think I'd put it here. Great for, great, but not for everyone. The everyone being me, because I'm not, or well, the not everyone, not for everyone, the not everyone being me, because I'm just not super high on this role. But it is good. I have to acknowledge, like, the flavor's there. It's fun. And you get to introduce some other characters. You know, you get these minions passing around the baby, etc. I think this character often runs away with the game. I feel like the win rate on this has got to be higher than some other demons. Leech, really fun, really spicy. I think I'd put it probably here. I think this role's pretty fun. Lord of Typhon can be pretty fun. Definitely can be pretty fun. Not my favorite, but I don't see why it would be below this tier, to be honest. The tier list is increasing in scale. I have to zoom out even more. Nodashi is probably one of the most boring demons, I think. You feel kind of imp-like a lot. It's like imp, but like there's like a little radar tracker pointing to you from your local neighbors that are poisoned. And then you also don't have an escape route by star passing. So I'm just not really a big fan of being this role, and then, like, I'm just not really a big fan of playing games with this, but it does add the puzzle of, like, oh, find who's poisoned and connect that to the demon. So I guess that's kind of interesting, but I'm going to put this one probably just above Leviathan. Oho, I've never played with. I've had this on, I've been in so many games where this is on the script, and it's never in play. Oh my god, I want to be the Oho so bad. This is one of the only characters in Clock Tower that I've never been, that I really want to be. I'm hoping I get freaking, what's it called? Crop dusted, farmed, growed. What is it called? I don't remember. I want the storyteller to ensure that I'm this character the next time it's on the script, man. Poe goes kind of insane. Poe's pretty cool. I think Poe is actually one of the more interesting demons for sure. I hate Puka. I actually had a whole discussion recently about how I don't like Puka. It's like, you know, because you have to pick your kills a day in advance, unless you have insane foresight, you're going to end up screwing yourself over so often. You're going to end up picking someone, and then the next day they reveal, my role's not that useful, guys. You can execute me. And then you just wasted your kill for that night. And it confirms to everyone you're Puka. Or you're going to pick someone, and then the next day they're going to be super sus. And everyone's going to be like, I don't trust that guy. But they're not going to vote him out because someone else got voted out or something else happened. But, like, you're pretty sure they're going to get voted out the next day. Oh, well, they died to Puka. It's like the demon would never choose to kill that person. But, well, you did that night in advance. Like, I just don't think it's that good. I don't think it... And the poisoning them for one night before doesn't really offset the loss of having that agency. You're taking away your agency to make the decision when it matters, and the only offset is that they're poisoned for one day before. That doesn't really help. I feel like almost always when Puka's in play, people figure out that it's Puka, and then they realize they can throw away their information the night before they died. Like, I just don't think this character is good at all. I think this character is, like, actually one of the worst designed demons, and when I pull a Puka token, I'm like, oh, I lost the game. I've played with Riot like once or twice. I don't think this character is good either. I think the text has been changed multiple times. On day 3, minions become Riot and nominees die. Oh, I haven't played with this new one. I played with it before where, like, when you nominate, they die and it bounces around or something. I don't know. This character is weird, man. I didn't like it before. I'll put it here because I just haven't played with the new one. Shabaloth is okay. It's like, as the storyteller, you have so much agency to, like, basically choose, evil team, you lost. And I've been Shabaloth before, and I feel like I've, like, done what I could to win, but then they just regurgitate someone that's, like, way too powerful. It's like they regurgitate the professor after the professor already revived someone, and now that they came back to life, they get to revive another person. And it's like, I know the Shabaloth is killing literally twice as many people per night as other demons, but it just feels like... basically, it's up to the storyteller. And as the storyteller, it doesn't feel good either. I don't want to make the decision, okay, good team's going to win this one because I'm going to revive someone strong, or evil team's going to win this one because I'm just not going to revive someone. So I think I'm going to put this here. Vigor Mortis, pretty powerful, can be really interesting. I've seen it be really interesting a few times, but I'm not super high on it. I'd probably put it right next to Fengbu. I feel like it's pretty similar. Vortok, super, super cool. This has like so much aura on a script. I think it actually belongs top tier. Just because it doesn't even have to be in play. Just being on the script, like, changes so much about the dynamics of the game you're playing. So I think that's really cool. Yabagabble? Yabagabble? This guy is interesting for sure. The only reason Tinker is not the worst role in the game is because the Yagababble can interact with it in an interesting way. I wouldn't put it that high tier though, to be honest. I'd probably put it about here. I think it's just a little bit clowny. It kind of adds like this extra element of the game where like everyone's watching what everyone else is saying, which I think distracts from conversations a little bit. And I also feel like the Yagababo could say the phrase like 6 times in a day. And as storyteller, it's like, are you supposed to kill 6 people? I don't think so. I haven't read the thing, but it's like they could say it a bunch of times and get away with it. And it's like if you actually killed that many people, like the game would just end. So I don't know. I'm not super high on it, but I do think it's a pretty fun role. It's a pretty fun mix on the demon concept. The Zombo, really strong. Don't get me wrong. Really strong. I don't like this role. I don't like this role. I don't like the idea of people executing dead people. It detracts so much from the game. Unless you know a Zombo is in play, like if it's the only demon on the script, then sure. But when it's 1 of 4, it just feels so distracting. Oh my god. Can we talk about how bad BMR is? Like, Jesus Christ, this script has all of the worst roles. Like, literally look at it. It's like my 2 least favorite demons, BMR. My least favorite minion, BMR. My least favorite outsiders, BMR. Oh man. Some of my least favorite townsfolk, actually none of these are on BMR, are they? I don't think so. That's good. Congrats. You escaped the bad design, but you know what? You got it locked down on boring. Let me tell you that. Let me tell you that, BMR. You got it locked down on the boring rolls. So yeah, this was my tier list here. I didn't order the tiers overall for everything because I separated it out other than drunk. I mean, I guess that means the drunk should be here. I could like go comb through really quick and order these along exactly where I think they belong. I think it's probably something like this. So I guess Vortox is my 3rd favorite character. I think that's fair, actually. I mean, looking at it from the perspective of like what's on the page, I think the Vortox is so cool. And as the storyteller, it adds like such a nice layer. And like I do like drunkenness and arbitrary information, but I also like the Vortox's like perfectly false info effect. I think that's pretty interesting. Okay, so now if I look at these, it's mostly minions, some demons. There's no outsiders in Great for All. So would I raise Pinhag? Probably at least above this and above this, but probably that's it. I'd leave the rest of those above there. So probably would put this up here as well. I'd probably leave this. No, I'll probably put this here. Al-Hadikia, probably like there. Imp, probably like there, and then Poe, probably like here. Okay. And then looking at this, Evil Twin. Oh wait, I have some outsiders. I have some outsiders. Barber and Puzzle Master. I probably like Barber more than quite a few of these actually as a character design. I'd probably put Barber like about there. Puzzle Master, probably not nearly as high though. Probably here. Evil Twin, this one's a lot of fun. This character's fun. It's so fucky for the one person. It's the good twin, but it is what it is. Vizier, to be honest, should this be... No. It's like, I feel very similarly about Evil Twin and Snake Charmer actually. It's like kind of fucks over one person in particular. Vizier probably would put it around here. Spy, I would probably put around here. Assassin, I'd probably put here. I'd probably put somewhere here. I'd probably put Marionette here. I think I'd leave Harpy and Witch there. Leech is super cool. Leech kind of deserves probably to be about there, I'd say. Kazali, also super cool. Probably would put this a little bit higher. I mean, I think demons in general are just kind of cooler characters. They just tend to be more interesting than other characters, and they kind of have to be just by nature because they're so centralizing to the game. I'd probably put this above Snake Charmer. I'd probably put this around here. probably there. Lord of Typhon, probably here. And no monster, probably here. Scrolling down, we have Damsel. Do I like Damsel more than these things? Definitely more than Steward. I have Zealot here as well. I'd probably put Zealot just below Slayer. But the reason I dislike them is probably pretty similar. I'd probably put Damsel below Seamstress, above Steward. I'd probably put Mutant above Steward. I'd probably put Goon above Exorcist. Godfather, I'm not really that big of a fan. Yeah, we're already at the point where I don't really like the roles that much, to be honest. In the good generally category. I'm just trying to be positive about it, but pretty much from yellow down are roles that I'm not super high on. I would say that I like the Godfather more than I like the Steward. And then most of these things I'm going to like more than the Steward. Because the Steward is just not that interesting. The Nodashi is surely more interesting than most of these things. I think it's probably there. And the Leviathan I actually like more than the Nodashi on second thought, so I'm going to put that there. Okay, we're down here, and there's quite a few outsiders in the neutral mix zone. This one is kind of, because originally these are like, I'm like mixed on these. Mixed on this one, mixed on this one, mixed on this one. Trapped in Biomar Hell, really. Yeah, kind of mixed on a lot of these. On like, there's goods and bads, there's goods and bads. Yeah, are any of these like something I'm truly neutral about? Not really. I kind of like the order of this as is. I mean, I'd probably bump this up for sure, like to here. The thing about this category is that it's just like stuff that I don't really care about that much. So it makes sense that I didn't really mix them in a whole lot. So yeah, it kind of is what it is. Yeah, I'm going to leave that as is. And then looking here, the boring tier. I mean, they're all just fucking boring, man. Is anything the most boring, though? Yeah, let's sort it reverse order. And let's start with the most boring thing. Definitely this. This is so boring. Oh, my God. This feels like so self-important for the storyteller. This is pretty boring. This is pretty boring. This one's really, really boring. This one is boring. Zombo's not boring to play as, but it's boring to play a game where Zombo could be in play, man. I gotta say. Zombo's definitely better than these, though. Just because it's not that boring to play, but I just don't like it on the script at all. Engineer at least does something. Okay, that's probably my order for boring. And then bad design. The worst design role in the game is probably the Lunatic. I mean, it's supposed to help the evil team, and it literally almost always wins. I swear when this is in play, it almost always wins. Like, this never hurts the good team. Terrible design. This is better than this, better than this, better than this, better than this. Probably around there. Are any of these worse than these? Not really. I would just say these are bad design. Well, these are bad design. This is bad design because there's no foil to it. This is bad design because it's too powerful. This is bad design because it's, like, boring, useless. This is bad design because, like, why would I ever trust someone claiming this as a good player? Like, the information literally doesn't mean anything. This is bad design because why they just always volunteer to die. It's impossible to bluff as evil. It doesn't help the evil team almost ever. The only time this could help the evil team really is with, like, Chef. But, like, the person who's the Recluse is gonna be, like, straightforward about it. So, whatever, you know? This is kind of bad design because I just feel like it's so low agency and it's weak. It's a weak demon with low agency. It doesn't make sense to me. Impossible to storytell. I feel like if they make a mistake, you can't call them out on it. You just have to let it ride. Not fun to play as. Literally does nothing. Helps the good team. Helps the good team. And then I just haven't played enough with these, or they've changed text since I've last played with them. So this is my final tier list. If you listen to the whole thing, I think you might be crazy because this is almost 2 hours long. So cool. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Bye-bye.